Acceleration Academies are sort of a very unique thing that we've put in place here at the Edwards, where students who are struggling to meet proficiency on either the math or English Language Arts MCAS statewide test come in during their February and April breaks. We noticed through looking at MCAS data and some of our formative assessments, we still weren't reaching all of our kids in the time that we had. We wanted to create even more time for them to be able to gain the skills that they needed.
Our Acceleration Academy program takes place during our 2 vacation weeks in the year. We have 1 vacation week in February, our winter break, where we specifically focus our instruction on the ELA, English Language Arts curriculum, in order to prepare students for the ELA standardized test.
By looking through all those bold print words before we sat down to do our lesson, we set our purpose for the lesson.
Our April Acceleration Academy week focuses on instruction for math to prepare students for the math MCAS test.
How many beans are in the jar? What are your thoughts about how we can estimate this? We're not allowed to count every single bean.
A typical day in our Acceleration Academy starts with students coming off of the school buses and then having breakfast together as a team. They get a little pep talk, a little motivation from their teachers and their principals, and then they go into their classes. They are assigned to a teacher for the length of the day. They will engage in direct instruction within that content area. During this time, teachers have an opportunity to supplement our daily curriculum with various activities, hands-on learning, an extension of lesson plans, project-based learning, so that students are really able to understand and grapple with a particular area within the content area and expand those opportunities within the length of the acceleration day.
It's in proper fractions, so I could do a whole into fourths.
Okay, and can 2/4 be reduced?
Yes.
Can simplify it to what?
1 1/2.
Okay, nice job.
In addition to the classes that they receive, we also have an hour of a specialty class where the students are able to express themselves in gym or computer. And then the length of the day is a little bit shorter than our normal school day. Our students generally leave around 1 or 1:30 as opposed to our 4:30 expanded learning time school day.
My class sizes are usually a lot smaller for the Acceleration Academies. I might have maybe 10 to 15 students, whereas throughout the regular school day I might have a lot more students, anywhere from 18 to 20 students. I have 7 stations set up in my classroom. They'll go to a station, and then they'll work on that for about 30 minutes, and then next we'll actually come together and do a whole group activity. Then I always follow that with a lab activity as well, which is something where they can get involved and use their hands. And then we end it with some kind of assessment for that day.
I work very closely with teachers in identifying the students that we invite to our Acceleration Academies, and we have a list of criteria that we use when we select students. For instance, the students that we select, we want to make sure that these students are students who are self-motivated and have a self-desire to want to learn. We need students who have an academic stamina. We also look at students who are on the cusp of our performance levels on the MCAS test. So a child might start off at a warning level, and by the end of the instruction that they've received that week, and then obviously holistically for the whole school year, that child could, by the end of the school year, improve their MCAS performance by an entire level.
Some kids that I was thinking about discussing today are Jack, Denicio, Frankie, and Elizabeth, starting with those folks. Frankie, I think, needs this Acceleration Academy not just to improve on the MCAS, but to be able to grasp what we've been doing in class, to help him to not just succeed on this one test, but to help him to succeed as a 6th grader and as a 7th grader as well.
Acceleration Academies are a very popular program in our school, and although teachers spend hours working with me to select students, we also have a lot of students who want to come and engage in the program for a variety of reasons. It gives them a safe place to be during the vacation week, but one of the incentives that we do offer our students who come to Acceleration Academy is an opportunity for them to receive a gift card to our local mall. So it's a gift certificate just to reward them for the time that they put in.
The way I decide what to teach during an Acceleration Academy is really looking at student data. So we started with the MCAS data specifically. We looked at just kind of the raw numbers, the numbers of multiple choice questions that students were scoring correct on, and also their scores on the open response.
What do you think is an example lesson that you can start off with in terms of trying to kind of reach the gap that you have over here?
In the beginning there, I was assuming a lot of knowledge around main idea, and I'm noticing like this data is really showing me that I need to break it down further for them. I think I'm going to have them focus more, starting even at the paragraph level, and for some kids even at the sentence level, identifying main idea at really little chunks and do more modeling. I kind of have in mind a graphic organizer. We were this year using a program called ANET, the Achievement Network, and it was a series of MCAS-like assessments that we were giving about once every 6 weeks. So they were ongoing assessments where we could continue to track students' progress towards, standards and also what was tested on MCAS. So that data also informed who was going to be in Acceleration Academy and what we would teach. And then finally, just informal assessments that I was doing every day in class.
For the Acceleration Academies, my classes are very much data-driven. I look at their data from the previous year's MCAS. I create documents on my own that pretty much show an overall view of what the data looks like, so I can see the areas that my students are weak in overall.
There's several pieces to going around creating an Acceleration Academy week. First, the funding must be secure. We have written grants in the past to secure our funding. At this time, we're able to serve around 100 students, but we would like to increase that. So you have to look for external sources of funding, as well as within your own district, to see if they support this program and they would be willing to support you financially. Secondly, transportation is critical for us to provide our students. We are not a neighborhood school, so our students do rely heavily on school transportation, so we secure school buses and the funding and the logistics around that. We also make sure that we have meal services provided for our students. We like to start the day with a healthy breakfast for our students so that they have the nutrition and energy to give them the stamina for the day. And we also provide them with a lunch before they leave so that we have fed them and they can have the rest of their day, with a nice balanced meal. In the selection of our teachers for Acceleration Academy, we look to our most highly skilled teachers to come in and teach the students. We need teachers who are able to look at student data, specifically know how they will target and plan their instruction for that week so that these students will make short-term gains within that week. We must have teachers who are strong lesson planners, who know how to engage students with strong lessons, lesson activities. We try to make it attractive for teachers to teach. We compensate them with a generous stipend. We also give them access to local universities and colleges in terms of their own professional development interests if they're interested in taking a course at a particular school. And we also treat them to some nice meals or evenings out, and also to an event within the city.
It was amazing to have them all day, and whatever we were working on in the morning, we can continue working on throughout the day, and I could revisit a skill and give them that repetition that they needed. But it was also a place where I could really focus specifically on what those students needed. I just feel like there's never enough time, and it's just another opportunity to give kids more time. And I think they felt so empowered by the fact that most other students were on break and that they were getting all of this stuff done in school and almost getting a leg up. And I think all of those students really left the week feeling really confident, but they had also gained a lot from the Acceleration Academy.
The Acceleration Academy isn't just a quick fix to get a student to do well on the MCAS. It's not that. The Acceleration Academy is an opportunity for students to improve in a subject area so that when they come back to school, they have long-term success.